Welcome to our 5th dig diary of the 2024 season, and we are picking it up right where we left it in period 4. In period 4, we were investigating this lovely east-west oriented wall right in front of me, and the space between this 4th century building and this 4th century building over here. So this little road has been thoroughly excavated, and if you check back our period 4 dig diary, you'll see that we were wondering, is this the barrack that we're looking for? And now we have the answer. It is. We've got 2 complete rooms. I'm standing on the partition wall between the rooms. And on this one, we've already reached the original stone floor. And we've got a very interesting lid right over here. Lids are one of the most frequent finds on the excavation. Stone and pottery are often chopped off in a sort of circular fashion, and a hole is punched through them so that you can lift them with ease. They would have been used for all sorts, capping pottery, capping features, all sorts of things, closing things down, and the hole makes sure you can lift it up with ease. Unfortunately, the 3rd barrack room here, you can see the next stone wall has been badly bashed, and here we are in a likely Victorian rubber trench. We've got a lovely clay pipe with a stamp, so we'll be able to date very clearly when someone came in and stole all our stones. Interestingly, the stones and the barrack pick up again over here. So they did leave us something, and interestingly, they also left us the corner of the building over there. On the eastern edge of the excavation, where the 3rd and 4th century rampart would have been, we've got some rather interesting features. For the non-initiated, the rampart is the defensive mound that stands right within the boundaries of the last 2 stone forts of Vindolanda and goes all around the fort walls. So in order to attack the fort, you would have needed to go through the ditches, scale the walls, climb off the ramparts, and eventually end up on the Intervallum Road, which is one of the most patrolled roads on site. The ramparts were often used for communal activities. We know that the majority of the soldiers had to prepare their own meals, and doing so within their barracks wasn't often convenient. So we have found in the past rampart ovens, communal cooking areas. In particular, we've found them in the northeastern quadrant in the 3rd and 4th century. And what have we got here? A very interesting stone-lined feature here with a stone base. We've taken quite a few soil samples from here, and we'll do some wet sieving, some flotation to get some more information about what these interesting stone-lined pits were used for. Just as the rain settles in for what promises to be one of the wettest summer on record in the UK, we have finally found the bottom of Eric Burley's trench. These team did a fantastic job, amazing rock shifting effort. We can see that Eric left some stones in situ here, a nice Antonine drain most likely, and finally was defeated by the water table. We know from many of Eric's reports that's one of the things that are plaguing his work. He is constantly fighting against the water. When removing the final layer of rock backfill, we've realized that Eric missed the first anaerobic layer, that is the timber Antonine layer, by about 15 centimeters, only for his son Robin to find it many years later. We've come inside to escape from the rain and to show you some of the amazing finds that have been uncovered over the last few weeks. Here we have some finds from the barracks floor and 2 finds from the rubber trench. So starting from the barrack floor, we've got a rather lovely set of beads. There is a green glass cylindrical one with a small tapering at one end. This is going to clean up rather lovely. It's translucent green glass. Then we've got a glass paste biconical bead. This glass paste is not translucent, it's opaque, so you can't see the light through it. And finally, we've got one of my favorite objects, the humble spindle whorl. This spindle whorl is made of recycled greyware. It's got a central perforation here where a spindle rod would be inserted. Spindle whorls are very common finds in Roman forts, which may appear counterintuitive as they are one of the most easily gendered finds. Spinning was a predominantly, if not exclusively, female activity. So it is fantastic to have this spindle whorl on top of the occupation layer of a barrack floor. What we've got here is the finds from the rubber trench, and we've got one Roman find and the culprit that made us identify the time in which the rubber trench was created. So this is a lead seal. Lead was a very recyclable material, and so it tended to be used several times through the course of the artifact's life. So what we've got here is the final product of what might have been, several different artifacts that eventually got cut to size and molded into a lovely little circle that would have been quite soft and quite malleable and could have been used to seal things shut. There might or might not be a little decoration there. We are not going to be cleaning it any more than this at this stage. We're going to bring it to the lab with its small fine number, and our curator is going to tell us more about it. And finally, we've got the clay pipe. Here you can see the fabulous stamp on the stem of the clay pipe. These were widespreads. They were the cigarette tabs of the time. They would end up in a clay bowl. They would be about this long when complete, and they were discardable, very much like a modern day vape without all the electronics. In the last video diary, we had a question regarding fossils. And here we have a perfect example that allows me to give you an answer. Yes. The people who lived at Vindolanda in Roman times were aware of the fact that fossils were a thing and often incorporated them in their architecture or even in their artifacts because they thought they were pretty and fairly rare. So this one, I have to preface, I am not a fossil specialist, but you can tell that this one is formed by a series of little cylindrical, almost pedicles. So this is a sea fossil. This thing is much, much more ancient than anything else on site. And this was found on top of the floor, discarded inside one of our barracks. We have other examples of fossils that have been reused in architecture and in objects, and the one that comes most readily to mind is the one that is included in makeup palettes, for example. These are small, flat stones with smooth surfaces all around that often include little fossils that Roman ladies thought incredibly pretty, and they were used to smooth over makeup or powders or other preparations.